Hi guys, I think I finally got it fixed. Found out what the problem was. So frustrating. The software that I use updated. They had me actually download a new version saying how wonderful it was and all this stuff, wonderful things. So I did it. Not noticing it said beta, which means they're still working the kinks out, and that's what the problem was. It didn't work at all. I tried to do a recorded version, like I said in my live. Well, that is, you probably didn't even hear me because the audio was off so bad, but I couldn't even get the recorded version to work, and that's never happened before. So I got rid of it and put in the one that's not a beta, and it's working just fine now, thankfully. I practiced a couple times. Hopefully it's still working. My voice was working and everything, so I hope that's still the case. So I'm sorry for not being able to have this work earlier today, but hopefully we'll get some people on now. Looks like I've got a couple of people starting to pop on now. Being Friday night, people may be out having fun. Hopefully you can watch the recorded version too. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the name of the winner of last week's cards. Whenever you share my video by the following Thursday, you get your name put in a drawing. And let me hurry up and show you the cards from last week in case you missed them. So the people that shared my video last week are putting a drawing to win these cards, and I'll be mailing them to them. And let's go ahead and see who the winner is. And the winner is, let's see, that one didn't have a name on it. I guess I put a blank one in there. Denise Mitchell. Okay, Denise, if you're watching, I'll try to message you too, but if you're watching, please message me here on my site, or if it was on YouTube, I have a contact link there, and then you can contact me by clicking on that. So, or you can also email me at christyfulk@createwithchristy.com to get me your address so I can get those cards mailed out to you. Okay, put these with her name on there so I know who to send those to. So congratulations, Denise. So anybody that shares my video tonight by next Thursday will get put in the drawing, and you make sure that you comment shared below when you share the video. You'll get put in the drawing to earn tonight's cards. And because I did the whole recorded version, I mean, I made the cards, did the whole video, then get to it and find out that the audio wasn't working with even with the recorded version, I have another set of cards. So I'm going to have 2 winners to draw next week. So if you share my video, you've got more of a chance of winning, since there'll be 2 prizes. There'll be 2 sets of cards. So I've got a few things I want to share with you real quick. Oh, I need to get my, well, here, get this to switch here. Okay, first off, I want to remind you about Paper Pumpkin. This one is extra special. You get an extra stamp set. Hi, Marlene. I'm glad you're here. I can't remember if you were here this afternoon. Hopefully everything's working now. The audio was, oh, it was awful. Okay, now let's go back to Paper Pumpkin. The March kit has an extra stamp set. It's the anniversary of when Paper Pumpkin started. I know it's been over 5 years. I don't think it's been 10 years yet, but it's been a good long while. I can't believe it's been that long already. But this month's kit is 12 cards and envelopes. They're note card size. They're a little smaller than a regular card, but not that much. And I love the colors that they've got, and I've got those listed there, so we kind of know at least the color scheme. We just don't know what they're going to look like. If those rain boots might be an indication, though. But you also, so you get everything you need to make those cards with a stamp set and the spot like always. But there's also going to be a second stamp set that coordinates with it, but isn't needed to make the cards in the kit. But it's a larger stamp set, and in the past they've done some really good stamps when they've done an extra stamp set, so it's well worth your while. But if you subscribe by March 10th, you'll be able to get the March kit, so you'll need to hurry. And I've got links to it in the description of the video that you can click on that. Okay, now I want to share. Sale-A-Bration is almost over. Well, it's a little over halfway over. I can't believe it. And I want to make sure you don't forget about the best deal in Sale-A-Bration. If you join my team by March 31st, you get the wonderful starter kit that's already wonderful to begin with, but you'll also get the products that are shown here in the picture. With a regular starter kit, for $99, you get $125 worth of product and free shipping and a $50 business kit that has your catalogs and things like that. All for just $99. But during Sale-A-Bration, you get all that plus all that designer series paper that's pictured there. It's a sampling of all of the designer paper packs that are in the mini catalog and the Lily Impressions designer paper in the Sale-A-Bration catalog. And I'm using that paper here with the cards today. And it's a 6x6 pack. You get 48 sheets. It's 4 of each double-sided design. Really good deal. You also get that cute little mini paper cutter, and that's exclusive to the starter kit during Sale-A-Bration. You can't purchase that anywhere. And you also get to pick out a free stamp set of your choice, any current except Sale-A-Bration and the host sets. Those are excluded. But all the other stamp sets you can pick from any of them, no price limit. So super good deal, and I'd love for you to join my team. I've got a nice little team going now, and I've got a Facebook group page that I've been neglecting. And I know I see Judy. Hi, Judy. She's on here. She's in my downline. I plan on doing a lot more fun stuff on our Facebook group page, not just the emails I've been sending you. So let's go ahead, and I think I'm about ready to start making some cards. So it looks like some of you have shared here on Facebook. Thank you for that. And I'm going to hurry up and switch cameras here. Now I can get the chat back up for YouTube, see if anybody's chatting over there. And those of you that share on YouTube can also just make sure you comment shared there so I know that you've shared it and get you in the drawing. Okay, now this is my favorite part of my lives, start making cards. So first I'm going to show you the Sale-A-Bration products here. I'm doing things a little different this time. This is the lovely lily pad stamp set. It's a Sale-A-Bration set that you can get free with a $50 order, and that's before shipping and tax. I'm also using the dies that coordinate with it. They're called the lily pad dies, and these are free with a $100 order before shipping and tax. Then I'm also using the Lily Impressions designer series paper that goes along with it too, and you can get this free with a $50 order. So if you want to get all three things free, you have to place a $200 order. Well, I made sure that the cards that I'm making, all the supplies you need except for the acrylic blocks and the die cutting machine, but everything else equals like $202. I made sure it's as close to the $200 as possible, so you can get these things free and make all these cards, plus much more. You're going to have a ton of supplies left over. And I'll hurry up and show you the designer series paper. But not only with a $200 order, you also get Stampin' rewards from Stampin' Up. So you'll get at least $20 in free stuff that you get to pick out on top of everything on my supply list. And I've got a link to the supply list in the description of the video. If you click on that, then it'll take you to it, and you can add everything to the cart right there. If there are things you already own and you don't want to purchase it, just uncheck those and then click add to cart, and those won't get added to your cart. But you need to have it to be a $200 order to be able to get all three items. If you bump it up to a $300 order, you'll even get the little ladybug set, but that's up to you. You can have some friends come in on the order with you to get up to that point. So here's this paper. It is a 12 by 12 pack. I've been using this design so much, this is all I have left in the big sheet. So this is that side, and this one. I just want to show you how pretty this paper is. It's just gorgeous. An actual artist painted these, and then they took pictures of it and made it into designer paper. And this one, so this is the ones you can get free with a $50 order. And this side. As soon as I get done showing the paper, then we'll get started on the cards. I didn't want you to miss out on how pretty this paper is. It's just gorgeous. Okay, let's get started. The first card is going to have a Grapefruit Grove card base. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece. Make sure I have it in the video here. And now I'm going to fold this in half, get my bone folder out. So that's ready. Then I've got a piece of Pool Party. This is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. And then a piece of the Lily Impressions designer series paper. And I'm just going to say DSP from now on. Oh, Marlene, isn't that pretty paper? I love this paper. It's just gorgeous. And so this is a 2 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the card. If I get this going. There we go. And it's going to line up here on the left side of the cardstock. There we go. And that's ready to go. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the card base. I just looked up and it says that Brandy Swinford is watching. Hi Brandy, haven't seen you forever. Glad you're here. Okay, so there's the card, and now we're going to do some stamping and some die cutting. So I think first off we're going to be die cutting. So let me get my die cutting machine out. Make sure I get it in the screen here. Kind of turn it a little. And I'm going to use a scrap piece of the Lily Impressions designer paper. Oh, I better get the dies that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using this die with this card and this one. And I'm using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This is also in that supply list. If you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use these a ton. So I'm going to be using the largest scallop rectangle in that set. So on this one, it's just a scrap piece, and I think this will fit. This has been the number of times I've made these cards. Okay. Having videos not work, but that's okay. I like making cards. It was just the frustrating part was the videos not working. Okay, so now I'm going to pick this up. This is going to be used on a card later. So I'm going to put that over to the side. But I do need these little pieces. And you'll understand why here in a minute. I'm going to go put these over here so I don't lose them. Now I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White. This is a, let's see, looking at the wrong sheet. This one is a 3 1/4 by 6. I'm going to put the largest rectangle, scalloped rectangle die here, and I'm going to put this flower on there again. And we're going to run this through the Big Shot. Actually, I've got one more thing we can add on here. I'm going to grab this piece. This is a 2 by 2.5 inch piece of Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to put this little leaf and branch on here. See if I get to quit moving around on me. There we go. And now we'll run it through. I'm going to run it through a couple times just to make sure I've got it good and cut. Okay. Sometimes this doesn't die cut very well. Let me show you some tricks on that. So I'm going to take this off. This time I need this part of the die. I don't need these, so let's get these out of the way. Don't want those in the way. Now, this should probably cut just fine. Yep, it did. Looks like I need to poke it. There we go. So that's ready. Oh, it did come out. Never mind. Good. I thought it was stuck. It did cut just fine. Sometimes when you get the dies too close together, and I made sure they were farther apart, sometimes part of it won't die cut. Oh, I don't want to lose that. That's one of my little peach pieces. Okay. Now we're done with the die cutting on this card. Now I'm going to bring in the rectangle, and I'm going to use the Itty Bitty Greetings. I don't think I showed you that. That's another thing on the supply list. And it's got a lot of really neat greetings. I keep getting it in the light. It's hard to see. Let's show you this one. It's got a lot of good greetings in this one. So it's a two box set. So what I'm using with this card is the one that says, Hey Friend. I'm going to bring in my Tuxedo Black Memento. And I'm going to stamp it in the bottom right corner. Like so. There we go. Close that up because I don't want to drop anything on that. I did that in a video once. Some of you probably seen it. That was awful. Ruined my card. Okay, so now we've got this. Now I need to glue my little green leaves on. I'm going to go ahead and use multi-purpose glue here. I think it's a little easier with the die cuts to use the glue. So I'm going to put a little bit on the leaves and a little bit here on the stem. Turn it over, and it's going to go about right here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. That's on. Now I'm going to put this guy on, the white one. And I don't want to have to put a glue on every bitty every piece of this. I'm going to make sure I get some glue on some points here. Okay. And then I'll probably get these little points here on the inside too. I don't want those popping up on me. And then put some along here so it stays on here on the bottom. That should be plenty. And then I just put this down like so. Move it down a little bit. That's the one nice thing with the glue. You can still move it for a few seconds. Okay, problem is though, I got some glue where I didn't want it. There we go. Just wipe it off. So that's ready to go. Now this is a new way of coloring it in. We're going to use all these little pieces. Now I'm going to turn these over. Now I've got glue on my fingers. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem the whole time. Turn all these over. And I'm going to put them, it's a lot easier if you use your take your pick tool. So I'm going to use the putty side of it. And I'm going to lay these down. It's like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. I think this one of these I always have trouble figure out where it goes. There we go. That's the one I have trouble with. So I'm just going to get them all laid in before I glue them down. Oh, I got too much glue on my fingers. Come on. There we go. There's that one. This one goes right there. Well, maybe not. It is definitely like a puzzle. We'll come back to that one. Turn that over because I definitely want the Grapefruit Grove side. That one goes on this one. And then we've got this one right there. Well, if I didn't have my fingers so sticky, this would be going just here. Let me use my bone folder. There we go, much easier. This one will go here. And this one, try to get a little faster here. Once it starts gluing together, it goes a lot quicker. You would think I could do this quicker now. It's about the third time I've made this card today. Oh, I know why I couldn't find the place. Oh, no, there it is. I thought maybe I had an extra piece that goes in this one. Let's see. There we go. I went every which way but the way it's supposed to go. So now we're ready to glue these in. I find it a lot easier to lift it up and then put a little glue on the white piece instead of the designer series paper. Just a little bit of glue. Put this down in it. And then it's ready to go. This one I picked up, so we might as well do that section. I love the putty on this Take Your Pick tool. Okay. Put that right in there. Whenever I do a video, I'm right at an angle, so it's a little hard to see sometimes. Looks like I'm getting them in okay. There, that little one didn't want to pop out. As you can see, it's just so much easier to put the glue on the rectangle instead of the little designer pieces of paper. Okay. Did I do that one already? Nope, I haven't done that one. I'll try to get a little faster here. There we go. It's one thing with lives, I can't fast forward. There we go. This one. I think I put that one in already. That's right. So we'll do this one. Stick that one in. The larger ones are a little easier to place. The smaller ones are a little harder. Oh, come on. I think my stickies quit working on my putty thing. I need to put a new one on. There we go. I think what I'll do, I'll see if I can get some more squeezed out. There we go. Now it'll start working. This one decided to, yep, just needed some more putty out. I'm glad that they give you 2 of these tips when you buy this Take Your Pick tool. Comes in real handy if you run out. And that you can buy refills for it. Okay. Get that one on. It looks like I have one more to do. And that's this one. Put a little bit of glue. Then we're ready. That'll help if I put it in right. So like I said, if you like doing puzzles, you will love doing this. And just make sure you don't have glue on your fingers. That's my whole problem. That's why it's taking longer than it normally does. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I love having that. You know what? You probably could use glue dots, Marlene. That you probably definitely could. Just probably put them all in place. That would definitely work. It's just whichever you like to use the most. So that's all ready to go. My hard part was it kept, and that would help with the glue on the fingers. So that might be the way I want to do it next time. Okay, now we'll bring the card in. I'm going to put this on dimensionals. So with this being extra big, usually I just put dimensionals in the corners. But with this being a little bigger, I'm going to put one right here in the middle so it doesn't collapse in the middle. And then we'll put it on the card. And then I cut a couple little added embellishments to put on it. And then this one will be done. Oh, come on. But I like that there's a way that you can use the little negative pieces that you don't want to keep with the flower. That you don't have to throw those away. So sometimes you can put this in the center, but I kind of liked it over to the right just a little bit. So we've got that on there. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of, this is Grapefruit Grove 1/8 inch grosgrain ribbon. I think 1/8 inch or, yeah, 1/8 of an inch. Couldn't remember if it's an 1/8 or a 1/4. So I'm going to tie this in a bow real quick, like so. And bring this down a little bit. Looks like I twisted them. I always have to play with my bows. They never look good right after I do it. You just keep playing with them until they look good. Okay, that's doing a little better. Now I'm going to use a glue dot, which I'll have to try that, Marlene. That's probably a good idea. I was just going with the glue, so I didn't think to pick up the glue dots. I'm going to put this in that little empty space that's in between the leaves and the flowers. Like that. And then I'll trim the ends off a little bit. It's just a little too long. Always make them a little longer than you want them to be. It makes it easier to tie. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in some holiday rhinestones. These were in the holiday catalog, but you can still purchase them. They're in the online store. So they're not in the catalog right now, but they are in the online store. Let me go ahead and cover this up. I don't need to do that anymore. But I want to use my spatula, so we'll turn that around. And I'm going to use these are Coastal Cabana. And there is Coastal Cabana, even though I'm using Pool Party here, there is Coastal Cabana in the Designer Series paper. So I knew this would look good. And they're pretty close to the Pool Party too, I think. I just want a little bit of bling on there. So there we go. So that card's all done. So if you'd like to have this card, make sure you share my video and make sure to comment shared so I know it's been shared. And I'll get you in the drawing. And you've got till Thursday, February 27th to get in the drawing. So if you share by Thursday, you'll get put in the drawing. Now we'll come, and there will be 2 winners too, in case you came in late. There'll be 2 winners this time, because since my recorded version didn't work and I made the whole set, I've got 2 full sets to give away. So now here's the second card. Now this one is going to be a special fold card. This is going to be a Z fold card. And this piece, you can still cut your cardstock in half, but you're going to do it lengthwise. So this is 4 1/4 by 11. Now there's something about the cardstock, I think it's the way the grains go. I have a harder time folding it in half when it's like this. So I'm going to go ahead and score it. So I'm going to grab my new paper cutter. And the new paper cutter has, the lighter one is the scoring blade. I think that's the way it was with the old one too. And I'm going to score it at 5 1/2. That's the halfway point. See if I can get that in there. And I'll show you, if you don't have a scoring tool, I'll show you how you can do it without scoring. But there's that. And then I'm going to do one at 2 3/4. This is to do the the Z fold. And whenever I score with this, with my scoring tool, I don't have to go back and forth. With this, I find you need to go back and forth a few times to get a good crease. So that's ready to go. Now, if you didn't have a scoring tool, all you had to do is fold it in half, like so. Then you take the front piece and you fold it in half. Now, because I've got my score line, it's a lot easier, but you don't have to. You would just line the edge up with the fold, first fold, and that makes your Z fold. So there's a neat way that you can make another card, and it's not hard to do. Now I'm going to bring in some of the Lily Impressions paper again, and I cut 2 pieces. These are 2.5 by 4. They're both the same sheet. I think I like the flowers on this one, so I'm going to have this one be on the top, and I'm going to use the other side for this inside piece because I didn't want that just to be cardstock. So this card I'm actually using both sides of the paper. So we'll go ahead and get this attached real quick. So that's going to go right here, right in the center. Get the snail on this one and put it right here. It just gives a little more texture to it. So that's ready to go. Now here's a piece that I'm going to put here for the inside. This is one that you can write on. You could decorate this if you want to, but I'm not going to this time. But this is a 5¼ by 4 inch piece. So I'll go ahead and get this attached to the inside while we're at it, because this looks a lot better having, well, plus it's dark cardstock. You can't write on dark cardstock unless you have like a white gel pen or something. So that's the base of the card done. Now we're going to do some decorating. So let me grab my Stampin' Pierce mat and some paper. It was clean when I started today. I'm going to bring in, this is a 3 by 4 piece of the Designer Series paper. I'm using the Melon Mambo / Lovely Lipstick side. And I'm going to stamp this big flower on it. I'm going to use my Tuxedo Black Memento. Get it inked up. And I find if you twist this ink pad, you don't need to do that with our classic pads, but because this pad is harder, I think it inks up a little better if you twist it a little bit as you put it on. Now I'm going to hold this down, put that on. Now I'm going to do this little flower, put it down here. So this is an easy way to color in your flower by just putting on Designer Series paper. And this one. So we've got those stamped and ready to go. Now I want to stamp this, and I'm going to show you the reverse, why these are called reversibles. So let me grab my chamois, get this one cleaned up. Actually, I'll go ahead and clean all these up because I'll be using these on another card. Oops, I forgot another thing. And I forgot to get the scrap paper of it. Let me see if I can find some here, because I'm also doing the lily pad. Okay, that's a great big piece. I think I'll cut some off because I'm not going to need that big of a piece. I had scraps when I did the video earlier and then forgot I used it up, so I better, let's try that much. That should be good enough. Okay. Oops, I'm covering up the next card. Don't want to do that. Hold on a second. There we go. Because I do need to stamp this lily pad. I'm going to do that with the Tuxedo Black again. I knew I was forgetting something to stamp. So there's my lily pad. And then these little leaves right here. And right there. Oops. There we go. Now I'm done stamping. So move those up, get my die cutting machine back out. Oh, this thing's heavy. Okay, get it in the video. Let's go ahead and die cut. Oh, I forgot to get the dies out I needed. I'm done with this one. So now what I'm going to use this one, the lily pad, and this one and this one. And this little one here will do those leaves I just did. So those are all the dies. I love having dies to cut all these out. So this one is going to, oh, get this off of here. This one goes right here. Now the little one likes to jump around. So what you do, you just keep moving the paper until it quits jumping, because what it's doing, it's jumping between magnets. There we go. Looks like I stamped those a little too close. Let me just hurry up and run that through by itself. Since it was wanting to move on me, I don't want it to move again. There we go. So we've got that little one ready to go. And I think I can bring this piece in so we can start doing some all together. Here's the lily pad. Hopefully you can see that in the video. Sometimes it's hard to get, you know what I need to do? This thing is getting warped, so let's turn it over. Now I bet it will quit bouncing around. Well, maybe not. Might have to get some washi tape out. There we go. Much better. Well, since that one's moving around, I'm not going to chance it. We'll go ahead and die cut that. Well, it just moved on me. Boy, this has just been a red letter day. Between the technical difficulties, now I can't seem to die cut the lily pad. There we go. Oh, it still moved, but I think that's okay. It didn't move much. Okay. Oh yeah, that did fine. Now we'll do this one. And let's see if we can get all three on there this time. I was able to earlier today. We'll see if it can happen this time. So this one goes here. And I love our new dies, how all you have to do is line up that design with in the opening. You don't have to worry about centering it or anything like that. You just make sure it's definitely inside there. Makes it so much easier to line up. Well, if I had washi tape close by, I would just grab it. Okay, since I've got the other two staying on there pretty good, I'll do that other one by itself. I don't want to start moving the paper and the others move on me. Let's see, I might try to get some washi tape for my next one. Okay. I usually have some washi tape here on my Big Shot, and I took it off for some strange reason. My goodness, this magnet is not cooperating tonight. There we go. Now get this through. Okay. There. Now I can sit down and see if you guys have had any questions. I'm standing up, it's hard to see. Oh, good, I'm glad you like how I use the paper with the die cuts. I like doing this. This way you don't have to color all those in. So those are all the little pieces we'll be using. And, oh my goodness, I forgot to do my rectangle. I did need the rectangle. It's going to be the big one again. Now this one will be quick and easy to do. I'll go ahead and do it twice because every once in a while. There we go. Yeah, that die cut, no problem. Okay, now we can get going putting everything together. So this is a piece of Whisper White. I sized it so it fit in the scalloped rectangle. And it is a, let's see, 3 3/4 by 2 5/8. And I'm going to do some stamping on it. So let me grab my Stampin' Pierce mat with my paper. Now I'm going to use the reversible to show you how this works. This is the one that's got the lined part on the top. Well, I'm going to take this off and put it down. These are made a little thicker than our photopolymer, and this, I guess this is why it makes it work better. I'm going to use this back side, grab my Pool Party ink pad, and I'm going to ink this up. So I'm just inking the solid part in the back. Now I want a light version of this, so I'm going to stamp off and stamp it here. What I'm doing is making like the lake, the pond that the lily pads are on. Stamp, but I want a really light version with this. This kind of goes along with the impression look. And you don't have to worry, like, see, I didn't get enough ink in this little area right here, but that's okay. That goes along with the look I'm going for. So there's going to be little white spaces and just going to make it look more impressionist like the designer paper. So there we go. We've got that ready. Put that out of the way. And then, oh, I still need the Pool Party. Now I'm going to use these waves. This is a stamp that's in the lily pad, lovely lily pad. And I'm going to make little waves in the paper. And that's why I stamped off the other. This one I'm not stamping off. That way it's darker than the background. Okay. I think that's it. There we go. So that's my background. Now I'm going to start putting stuff on here. We'll go ahead and put this on the rectangle. I'm going to get this out of the way. Get my rectangle on there. And this is going to go right within the stitched area of the rectangle. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now I'm going to bring in, oh, I forgot to stamp happy birthday. This is also in that itty bitty greetings, but I can do that now. So I'm going to stamp it here in the bottom right corner, left corner, I mean. There we go. Now the stamping's done on this card. I'm going to put the lily pad on, put some snail across that, and it's going to go about right here. Then I'm going to put this guy, the big flower. Love this flower, it's so pretty. And I'm going to put it on at a little bit of an angle. Sometimes when you see lilies, they're not totally, they're kind of cockeyed. I just think that looks pretty. Then this medium-sized flower that I made, I'm going to put it on with dimensionals. And I think putting one on, it might wobble a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and do two, one on each end. That way it won't wobble. And I'm going to put this right here on top of this flower to give it some dimension. So it's just going to go right there in the middle. So that has a little layered look to the flower. Then I'm going to grab this little guy, and I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue again, if I can find it. I keep throwing, oh, there we go. With this being so little, I think it's a little easier, and I'm going to hold on to this little thing because I'm not going to bother to put glue on it. I'm just going to put some on the leaves, turn this over, and it's going to go up here in the top left corner. And then this little flower is going to go on with a dimensional, and this one is little enough. Ugh. Oh, good, Marlene. I'm glad I'm inspiring you to use your set. I have to admit, this is I've made one other card with it before these cards, so I was glad to be able to get it out and play with it some more. So now that's going to be my focal point for my cards. So now I'm going to bring in the Z-fold card again. Now this is going to be going on like this. I don't want any adhesive on this side over here. So I'm only going to put snail on the left side. And I'm going to go little to the left of center, because I don't want any adhesive to be sticking out on this, because then it'll stick the card closed. So kind of center that like so. Make sure it's straight. Put it on there, and there's no adhesive showing back here. And that's a Z-fold card. So I hope you like that one. Once again, that's in the stash that you'll get if I draw your name if you share the video and comment shared by next Thursday. Okay, got one more card with this set. This one is going to have a lovely lipstick card base. So this is going to be a regular card. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece that will fold in half. Okay. Glad you like that. I saw a bunch of little like things going up for the last card. Oh, and a love. Thank you. I love it when I see those emojis going up. And then I'm going to take a piece of Whisper White. This is 4 by 5.25. And I'm going to stamp this flower. This is going to be the inside of my card. I'm going to stamp this flower down here in the right, bottom left corner. I don't want to keep saying bottom right. That's the left side, Christy. Okay, so that's ready to go. I'll put that to the side. Then I'm going to bring in, let's bring in this again. And I'm going to stamp a background on this piece. This is a this is actually a little smaller. This is a 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I took off an 1/8 than what I usually do on my base layer. And I'm going to take, oh, I better clean this. I keep putting my chamois down in the place so I don't lose it. I am so good at putting things down on my desk and losing it. My friends that I craft with at Crops and stuff, they know exactly. They laugh at me all the time. I'm always losing stuff. Okay, now I'm going to stamp this. This is Granny Apple Green ink on Granny Apple Green paper. And this just gives a nice subtle background. And oh boy, do I love this stamp. It is so pretty. So instead of using an embossing folder, this is what we used to do before we had embossing folders. I've been a demonstrator, it'll be 17 years in April. So this is the way we used to get a background instead of embossing it. So there's that. And now I'm going to take a piece of the Lily Impressions designer paper again. This is 3 7/8 by 2. Oops, close that up. Now I'm going to put this on the bottom of this one, like so. Oops. Glad I didn't. The trick is not to push on too hard when you're starting to put it on. That way you can pop it back up again if it's not straight. So now I've got this on here. Oh, you're going to love it, Deborah. It's so much fun to play with. I love it. Okay, it's safe to put this on because I'm not using any ribbon on this card. Now you can see I made, like I said, I made this like 1/8 of an inch narrower and shorter. That way this border around here is just a little bit thicker. I wanted the card base to show a little more than I usually do. Okay, let's do some other stamping and then I'll be getting the die cutting machine out again. Oh, actually I need a color before I do that. So I'm going to swap this back over. I need to clean it. Get that pool party off the back of it. And I think I need to clean that one too. I'll be using that here. Flip this one back over again. Now that it's dry, kind of flip it a little bit, make sure it's dry again. Now I'm going to use the lined side. I have to admit, these reversibles are kind of cool. I'm going to stamp the flower over here. And I'm going to stamp my lily pad. Oops, help if I did it with the pad, not the lid. I must be getting tired. Okay, and I need to put it on like this. Well, actually I do like this, I forgot. Oops, nope, that didn't work. Tell you what we're going to do. Make sure I don't do the flower. I'm going to do it a little bit like this. There. I am glad there are 2 sides to cardstock. Okay, and then here's the I Miss You. And I think I'll put it down here so I don't get it in the way. Oh my goodness. I shouldn't have said I was getting tired because now I'm messing up. There we go. That's still smeared a little bit, but that's okay. This is a brand new Memento pad, and I think it's a little juicier than I'm used to. Getting it inked up a little too much. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start coloring these. I'm using, and this is also in the supply list below, this is the Flirty Flamingo and the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to start with the dark Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to put it here on the lines and a little bit on the base of the petals. So I'll just keep doing this real quick. This is all with the dark Flirty Flamingo. Okay. Like I said, if you want to see the supply list, there's a link to it below in the description. It lists everything except the acrylic blocks in the die cutting machine. Okay, trying to get it done quickly so you don't get bored seeing me sitting here coloring. Hope you're all looking forward to your weekend. This week flew by for me. It's a good week, just went really quick. Okay, so I've got all those lines done. I'm going to do a little bit more over here. That looks pretty good. And while I've got my dark one out, I'll hurry up and do the coloring on the inside flower. This is what's going to go on the inside of the card. Because that lovely lipstick card base is a little too dark to write on, so we want to have a white piece in there so you can write on it. Now I'm going to bring in my light Flirty Flamingo. And whenever you use blends, if you haven't used these before, I like using the brush tip. I know some other people that like using the blunt side, the one that's a smaller tip. But the trick with the brush tip is don't scrub really hard. Use a really light touch. That way you don't fray your brush tip. And there's no reason to go really hard either. So some of these Flirty Flamingo, the dark one is a little too dark, so I'm just going to go over it with the light a little bit, and that helps it blend. But there's that. I don't know if you can see in the video, but it's got nice different shading in it in person. That's one thing with live. Sometimes you can't see the dimension in them. So hurry up and do that with this big one. And I always, like I said, color over the dark to blend it in. Now with this, some colors you don't have to blend that much. With this Flirty Flamingo, I think the shades are close enough. You really don't have to do a lot of blending with it. Now when I hurry up and do the Granny Apple Green, you're going to see that I need to blend it a little more. Just about done. Okay, some of these look a little too dark. So what I'm going to do, I'm just coloring where the two shades meet to blend it. The alcohol in the markers is what makes it blend. That looks much better. Okay, so now that flower is ready to go. Now my Granny Apple Green, I'm going to turn this over since I messed up the other two. Here's my dark Granny Apple Green. I'm just going to, oops, that's what the blunt tip looks like, by the way. I'm going to use my brush tip again. And just go along these lines just a little bit. I'm making them scribbly because I don't want them to be straight lines. You're not going to see a lily pad with straight colors on it. Kind of go over it a little bit again because you do want it to saturate the cardstock a little bit. Now bring in my light Granny Apple Green. Get it colored in. I always make sure I get the outer edges. I go a little slower then because I want those, I don't want to go outside the lines there. But then I go a little faster once I get on the inside. And I don't know if you can tell, that dark green is, the shading is a lot darker. So I want to blend that in just a little bit more to get that gradual effect in the shading. There we go. That's ready to go. So now we'll start doing some die cutting. Last time I got to pick up this big heavy thing. Okay, here we go. Since I've got this turned over, let's go ahead and get the lily pad one out. Put that here. The I Miss You, I'm going to be die cutting with this little label that's in the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Like I said, I love these dies. These are probably my favorite right now because I love all the different things. I've used them on so many projects. Okay, let's move this a little bit so it doesn't move on me. There we go. Make it go through. I've got my little greeting, my lily pad. Now we'll turn this over and die cut this one out. And then everything's going to be die cut. Oh, no, it won't. I forgot. I'm going to use that really pretty border die on this card too. So let me hurry up and get that out. I just had to make a card with that border die. It is so pretty. I wanted you to see how pretty it is. It's a little hard to tell when you look at the die how neat this is. So I'm going to get a piece. This is, you want to make sure it's 3 7/8 long because that'll make it so it's the same width as the Granny Apple Green layer on the card. But it can be a narrower. This is like a 1-inch width. But see, I could have even gone a little narrower. But I want to get that centered, have the same amount hanging off each side. Just as long as it's 3 7/8 long or width-wise, so you'll be good. Now, I'm going to do this a couple times. Probably don't have to, but the way things have been going today, I'm going to make sure I've got that good and cut. Okay, now we'll get this out of the way. So I'm definitely done die cutting now. We are almost done with this card. Now I want to show you something neat about this die. Watch it not work this time, but when you start pulling it off, all of those little pieces actually stick in that die. You don't have to be pulling it out of your border. Pretty cool. So, and these will come out really easy. I can just drop it on here. I'm not going to do it now because I'll have little pieces all over the place. But if I drop this, most of them fall out that way, and then you can just poke the rest of them out. So it's a really easy die to use. Okay, let's go ahead and put the inside of the card in. See how I said you want to make it sure it saturates the cardstock? That's kind of a neat look on the back too. Okay. We are on the home stretch now, ladies. Put this right here in the center. I can't remember if I said this is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of Whisper White. Now I'm going to put this beautiful border on. Now this is the way I find it's easier. I use my glue a lot more than I used to, but see this nice long strip right here along the middle? I'm just going to put glue on there. I'm not going to bother with all those little thin pieces up there. This holds it just fine. So I've got that nice little strip of glue. And this also makes it so you don't get glue on your fingers too. And I am going, let me stand up so I can see what I'm doing. The bottom of that strip in the middle, I want to line up with the top edge of that Designer Series paper because I don't want to see any green on that bottom, these bottom openings. And then I'll hold that down for a few seconds. Let the glue set in. And it's ready. So isn't that pretty? I love that border. Really neat. Okay, now put the rest of this together. I'm going to put my lily pad down here, just about right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Stick that on and hold it down a little bit. Make sure it's down really good since these little points are not attached. You want to make sure that that's down. Now remember this little flower here? That was from the first card that we didn't use this one. I said we're going to use it. We're getting ready to use it now. So this one I'm going to be putting on with dimensionals. So I'll go ahead and put those on real quick. I'm going to put 2 up here on the wide part of the flower. And then 1 down here. That should be enough to hold it on. Take the paper, well, I don't want to take the paper backing off yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to lay this down where I want it. And now this is going to hide right back here. So what I'm going to do, since this part of the flower is going to be hidden, I'm only going to put some snail on the bottom part here. I'm going to grab, if I have, oh, I've got them out in my other room, never mind. I was going to grab my silicone mat, but I can get the glue off. If I get any glue on my little wood platform here, it's okay. I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of snail on that bottom part. It's okay if you get some of the glue sticking out of the holes here because it's going to be tucked underneath the flower. So I'm going to lay that flower again where I want it before I attach it. Then slide this under, and that's going to look good. I want it to hang over the green a little bit. So there we go. So that's on. Here we go. And then put my flower right here. And there's only one more thing to put on and we'll be done. Put my little I miss you on there. And because it's kind of small, I didn't want to put just the one on here because these ends would be wobbling. I just know they would be. So I'm going to take my scissors, and I always use the borders of my dimensionals too. And these just happen to be half dimensionals. So I'm going to put one right here on this end and one on this end. So yes, I use all of my dimensionals. And then I'm going to put this right here. I might have to stamp that one again since it got so messed up. But there's the last card. So let me bring all the cards back in for those of you that got in a little late. These are all made with the lovely Lily Pad stamp set, dies, and the Lily Impressions Designer Series paper, all from the Sale-A-Bration brochure. And if you share my video and comment shared by next Thursday, February 27th, you'll be put in the drawing to win these 3 cards. I'm going to have 2 winners since I have an extra set of these since my recorded video didn't work. So if you share my video and comment shared, I'll get you in the drawing, and I'll draw the winners, the 2 winners, next Friday in my live. Hopefully everything will work next week. So I hope you enjoyed these cards. And like I said, everything I used equals a $200 workshop order, which will make it so you can get all 3, the dies, the Lily Pad dies, the lovely Lily Pad stamp set, and the Lily Impressions paper free. And you also will get Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up. So it's a pretty good deal. So if you the link to my supply list is below in the description. So I'll see y'all next week. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.